Good morning. Who out there believes that God can work through anything, through any situation, through any trial, through any trauma? This past weekend, my wife shared her story of physical, sexual, and emotional abuse at the hands of her father. She shared that as early as she can remember, before kindergarten, so maybe 4 years old, that her dad started sexually abusing her, physically abusing her mom, threatening my wife's life, calling her all sorts of terrible names, and just being a really poor picture of a father. And that the sexual abuse for her went on until she was 15 years old, until her mom and family finally ran away. And during that time, she would pray to God and didn't understand why this was happening to her, but knew that if she prayed to God, that God was with her and would give her the strength to be able to endure that time. And now for her career, now she works at a pregnancy center, a pro-life pregnancy center, where she can sit across from young girls that are experiencing possibly the same kind of trauma and saying, look, I know, like I literally know what you're going through, and be able to share with them God's strength and God's power, and how many of those girls in that room will pray and give their lives to the Lord and choose life for their baby. And the power of her story just shows that God will work through anything. The Bible says that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those that are crushed in spirit. So, my wife always knew that God was close, even in the scariest moments. And he's close to you too. And he will give you the strength to endure. Psalms 50:15 is beautiful. It says, call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you and you shall glorify me. So even through the most trying parts of our lives and our testimonies, we're not the heroes of those. God is. And God will glorify himself through anything. And I just have to think about Romans 8:28. It's a beautiful promise from God, and it says, and we know. And I think about the word know, and know doesn't mean we assume, we hope, we wish for. It says, and we know that in all things, and I think all things means all things. Even the ugliest of things, even the things that you think, will break you, even the things that you think make you unworthy, because you were a victim. You didn't do this to yourself. You didn't ask for this behavior. My wife surely didn't ask for the sexual abuse. But we know that in all things, God will work for the good of those who love him and who have been called according to his purpose. And again, in Joseph, I think of Joseph. Joseph is sold into slavery by his brothers. And, he ends up rising through the ranks of the Egyptian culture and ends up saving so many people. And the interaction that he has with his brothers is the same interaction that I would think my wife would have with her father, or you with whoever it is that hurt you, if you've ever been hurt by somebody. He tells them in the Message version, I love the way that the Message version writes it out. He says, don't you see? You planned evil against me, but God used those same plans for my good. As you see all around you right now, life for many people. And that's my wife's story. Literal life. When a woman is saying, I can't have this child because of this relationship that I'm in, or I can't even see how I can raise this child because I'm so broken myself. And then they give their life to the Lord, and then they say, you know what? I'm going to have this child. Literal life for many people. And Jesus himself says, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. I think about people that have dealt with trauma, and they're just running. Their minds never stop. How can I get out of this? What is going to happen with my future, my life? Who am I? Just want rest. Rest for their souls, rest for their bodies. And Jesus is saying, if you just come to me, I will give you rest. So today I just pray for those who are going through any kind of struggle in their life, that they would just lean on Jesus, because Jesus says, my burden is easy. If you'll just take my yoke upon you, I will walk with you. I will carry half of your load for you. And really, Jesus is willing to carry the whole load if we would just lean on him. So today, everyone out there, whatever it is you're going through, lean on Jesus. He will help you. He will unburden you. He will carry the weight of the world off of your shoulders and put them on his, and he will guide you and get you rest. As he said to the people of his time, not to let their hearts be troubled, but you believe in God, believe also in me, that the same promises that God promised Hagar is the same promises he promises now. And Jesus promises us even more. He says, I'll take it from you and I'll carry it. Let Jesus carry your load. God bless you each, and we'll see you tomorrow.